So, hello, and welcome back to Nicole Myths, Astrology and Tarot. Please be aware, if you are new to the channel, I do not sugarcoat my messages and I have no filter. So, for all of you that say,
I want the truth!
Some of you absolutely can and will handle the truth here just fine. Others of you, well,
you can't handle the truth!
At least not yet, and that's okay. I trust when you're ready, you'll find yourself back here liking my videos as a subscriber in divine time. For those of you who are self-aware enough to stay and listen, drop a like and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. With that said, always take readings how they resonate with you. If you are confused about the message of a reading, I always recommend coming back in about 2 weeks' time and seeing it with different eyes. Most of the time, if you're confused about a reading, you're trying to connect it with a scenario that it's not actually pertaining to. So no matter how tempting it is to listen to this and try and connect the dots to someone else in your experience, understand they're in your experience because of something you are learning through witnessing them to begin with as a divine mirror. So no matter how tempting it is to connect it to someone else, know that I am always reading it to help you better understand yourself and your own healing. Also know, if you look at the image, it represents the 12 houses of your birth chart. Okay, so we all have all of them. If I note certain astrological signs or planets, it's either because that is what is specifically healing in your chart right now or is being recognized in the reading as the area that is healing, or it is being aspected by the different things going on in the current cosmos that's bringing it up. So just because I say a certain sign and it's not your sign does not mean it's someone else. It's most likely a certain area in your chart that's being acknowledged, or it's a certain aspect going on in the current cosmos that is reflecting on the different healings going on in your own chart. Now I'm ready if you're ready. So let's begin. Okay, so these are the full moon in Leo highest good secret code name readings. These readings are purchased by individuals through my Etsy shop and are their personal readings. However, if you are drawn to a secret code name, chances are there's a message in it for you. This is secret code name Purple Iris. All right, if you'd ever like your own secret code name, the link to my Etsy is in the description below. So, Purple Iris, I'm using my White Light Oracle cards for you today that I pulled some guidance from and then clarified it with the major arcana from the Patch Tarot and then used the remainder of the deck to get some insights into the unfolding of all of this energy and your highest good with this full moon in Leo. All right, and I'm going to start with the guidance because I want you to understand why the guidance is what it is because of the way the cards coming out are the way they are, right? To put it in some perspective for you. The guidance card that you got was Solve Polluti, 741 hertz. And it came clarified by both the Death card and the Wizard, which is the Magician, okay? Very Scorpionic energy, very Mercurial energy, and Gemini energy, right? If we're talking about birth charts and things like that, where that plays in your chart. So, Solve Polluti, 741 hertz. It says, tune into your heart, and you will be able to find your way through any negative or toxic situation. Engage in self-healing and space clearing. Commit to regular practices that help you connect to your inner light. Your light shall not be overcome by any darkness or negativity. Take time to clean your heart and mind of negativity by focusing on the divine beings that bring joy to your heart. It is appropriate for you to desire your own personal and sacred space and access it daily. Okay. Higher beings are lovingly and faithfully working to assist souls in their transition from fear, from fear to a love-based inner orientation, and to become strong enough to ward off further negative influences and reverse the toxic culture within themselves and our world. A shift is available for hearts willing to exchange the constant battle with relentless negativity for being a source of light, love, and peaceful abiding on the planet. When these hearts reside in an inner place of purity, they are able to bring unconditional love and spacious primordial wisdom into our world for the spiritual benefit of all beings. They can do much good in the world. To be around such hearts instills peace and relaxation, hopefulness, and vitality within the soul. The frequency of 741 hertz cleans things up. Salve polluti is a Latin expression which means to clear pollutants and toxins. This frequency focuses on clearing, freeing the hold of negativity, and allowing the natural way of bright, beautiful manifestation to unfold. It attunes one to the harmonics of the quantum field, the reorganizing principle of the higher self, which knows what you are and how to dislodge and disengage from that which is inauthentic and obstructive to your radiant being. When this oracle appears in a reading, it is a call to clear yourself and your space in ways that feel affirming, inspiring, and beautiful for you. Trust that no matter how much gunk the ego-driven actions of humans might generate, it is no match for the power of spirit at play in willing human hearts. May all such hearts join with spirit and with each other to clear and bless all creatures for the greatest good. And it goes on about how we're constantly taking in toxins from other people, toxins from the environment, toxins in our food, toxins on TV, like bombardment of electromagnetic bullshit and, things like contaminated oceans. Like there's contamination and shadow harming the planet and everybody and everything and everyone on it all over. And we have to actively choose to purify the self of these negative energies, to choose to clear our vibration, to not allow the shadow, no matter how much it exists around us, to not exist within us in our own energy space. And I'm not saying, go out there and start an ocean cleanup or solve disease, or go organic, and that's not what I'm saying. But the advice is to clear yourself of the negative energies from that which we consume in our experience, no matter what it is, because we can't help taking it in. To an extent, like as much work as we do, we can't help that there's pollution in the air. You know what I mean? And we got to breathe. So it's making it a point to clear your energy, especially of toxic experience or people, and what that leaves on the soul. The temptation to become like shadow people versus staying in the purity of your heart and in alignment with spirit that knows the healthy balance between compassion and wisdom, right? That we don't become polluted. That it comes out with the death card and the wizard. Mercury being of the mind and Scorpio being of death and rebirth. The transition. This is about letting the old way of thinking in the mind go. To reestablish a firmer, more beneficial integrity within the self. That you would not allow yourself to think or feel or perceive or dread the way those in shadow do. That you would trust your faith in your higher self and bring that energy in. that you would utilize tools like 741 hertz to help you do that. The cards that come out following, we have the Seven of Cups clarified by the Ten of Discs. We have the King of Swords clarified by the Four of Discs. The Seven of Wands, which originally came out in reverse, clarified by the Seven of Swords. And the Ten of Wands clarified by the Eight of Wands. When we are confused about our path, we tend to dissolve the legacy we intended to build. Okay, when we build on wanting what we think we want or having more, the idea of more, right? Because the Seven of Cups is greed versus illusion, and the Ten of Discs is desolation versus legacy. There is a certain acknowledging from spirit or acknowledgement that spirit would ask you to have, that maybe what you're trying to build or what you're trying to go after is not necessarily authentic for you, but it's an illusion that was created that you were taught that you were going after. There's many different dreams. Even if you look at the Ten of Discs, you know, on one side there's great friends, and then, you know, the six-pointed, it's like a hexagram, but it's got the bull in the center. You know, it's the Venusian energy of Taurus, where there's giving and receiving and camaraderie and purpose. And that's a dream, right? And that is a dream, to be of higher service and to interact with the world. And then there's the other side of the dream, which is the happy family and the children and the home and the cat, you know, and either way, wanting to be able to pass your legacy forward, whether it's through family or through the divine web of connection and higher purpose. You know, there's two ways to go about it. And maybe you've been going after one of them when in reality you might want to be focusing on the other, right? The King of Swords, clarified by the Four of Coins, is being analytical versus judgmental, and stability versus hoarding. So what, and I will ask you this, who have you judged recently in conversations? Oh my God, they're so this, or oh my God, can you believe that, or blah, 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 like whatever it was. How are you, in fact, doing the same thing in another way? How are you, in fact, doing the same thing in another way? How are you creating stability from analytically breaking things down and understanding them versus judging and then I'm hearing like hoarding your own healing? It's like complaining about, oh my God, every time I get in their car, it's such a fucking mess. They never throw anything away. But what does your closet look like? When's the fucking last time you've thrown out clothes or donated clothes? That you literally have a closet so stuffed and a hamper stuffed and clothes piling up that you don't even have enough place to put them all. You know what I mean? That your closet or your room is such a fucking mess. And just because no one sees it doesn't mean it's not there. You know what I mean? So it's like, where are you casting judgment on others when you, in fact, are doing the same thing in a different way? Because that's what Spirit wants you to realize. Because it's in your mirror for a reason. It's in your experience as your mirror for a reason. It's in your reality for a reason. You're witnessing it for a reason. With the Seven of Wands and the Seven of Swords, and knowing that the Seven of Wands originally flew out in the reverse, the Seven of Wands is courage versus cowardice. The Seven of Swords is crisis versus strife. Do you have the courage to get through crisis, or do you absolutely cower creating strife for yourself? Because the Seven of Wands, the wands inside the image, look like hands reaching up, trying to grab the character in the center of the card. And the wands represent the spiritual burdens that others try and put off on us, that you would have to stand up for yourself and say, no, it is not my problem to solve. Do you have a hard time telling people no when it's not your fucking problem? Maybe that's what you're judging other people for. Oh my God. They're always, taking on everybody else's shit and they suffer for it. Like this person is always taking this person's crap and they're always suffering for it. Why can't they just tell them no? Well, you're learning the same lesson. Why can't you tell people no? You're a softie. Or you don't have the fucking balls, right? Cowardice. You don't have the fucking balls to tell them it's not your problem. Like, not to be cold-hearted, not that you don't care, but it's not your problem to solve. They created it on their own accord. Where's your spiritual fucking balls? Watch who you're judging and how you're judging, because I promise you are doing the same thing in your mirror. You just haven't realized it yet, or at least hadn't prior to this message. Because the 10 of Wands, clarified by the 8 of Wands, we have resolve and shift versus indecision and inertia. Can you have a firm resolve and shift your own spiritual behavior versus being indecisive and staying stuck, not knowing what to do? And so it's more comfortable and familiar to just sit back and judge others and pretend that you're better off than you are, spiritually speaking. Think about that. We judge others because it is more comfortable to feel that we are doing better spiritually than them when we're not. We like to pretend that we're better off spiritually than we are. They're in our experience for a reason. If you think you are better off spiritually than someone, you're mistaken. This is the illusion, right, of the 7 of Cups. What cups are you picking that you would dissolve your legacy? The legacy that you fully intend to leave behind. A legacy of light? Or are you picking a legacy of shadow? Because out of those 7 cups, only one of them is a victory. The other 7 are cups of shadow. If you look at somebody else and be like, oh my God, they're so fake, I can't stand it. How are you being fake in your life? In the way you are living, in the things that you're choosing, how is it really lined up with you, if at all? What are you doing that's fake then? Are you in a job for the money instead of the passion? Are you playing nice with family because you feel you have to be instead of just not fucking going because you don't want to and you don't enjoy being there? What is it? If you can look at someone and say, oh my God, they're so superficial, it makes me nuts. How then, in a different way, are you superficial and putting value on things that don't actually fucking matter? Things or people. Think about it. Get rid of the pollution within the self. Get rid of the negativity within the self. Cleanse yourself out and go back to being a pure light who casts no judgments, who simply is a witness and applies analytically the lessons to create stability within the self instead of hoarding judgments. Have the courage to do as you're guided and not give in to other people's crosses to bear because you have something to prove about being a good person or an able person. You're not better than anybody. You know what I mean? because you can and they can't because they need you. You're only hurting yourself doing it. This is the full moon in Leo, highest good reading. Understand where you are in the mirror with things. So I hope this helps. I have faith that it will. Secret code name Purple Iris. Thank you for being a part of this event. Know that any reviews that left over my shop are always greatly appreciated. You can absolutely send me a private message and let me know how it resonates. My love and support are with you always. Remember to love each other, but most importantly, love yourself. Take care.